All right, we're going. It's episode 73 of Definitely the Experts. It's Sam. It's Connor. You know what the fuck's up. Let's have a fucking show. We're gonna talk about some things today. Connor, what's up?
Not a whole lot. There actually is a whole lot in the NFL
There's
world.
a lot going on today.
Before we get into the Washington Post article that dropped this afternoon, did you see the Deshaun Jackson stuff that came out?
Well, yeah, that's also going on too. And Nick Cannon also kind of threw his hat in the ring. I don't know if that was related or not, but some bunch of anti-Semitic things coming out, which was weird and seems very much out of left field.
Yeah. It was all really weird how it all came out because first of all, I do just want to say that the thing that Deshaun Jackson shared, it was like on a couple of different levels it was problematic, but it was also on its face it was one of those things that you look at and it's like, why, what? You see it and it's almost like you would expect somebody to share this ironically, but it was in complete seriousness, obviously, and that's why it was a problem. But yeah, I don't know if you saw the actual quote, but it literally started. So first of all, it was misquoted to Hitler.
Yeah, fake Hitler quote.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the actual picture of it here. Okay, here we are. So it starts off though with Hitler said. So you'd think that this is probably attributed to Hitler.
Start.
But here's what it said. It was Hitler said, quote, "Because the white Jews knows that the Negroes are the real children of Israel, and to keep America's secret, the Jews will blackmail America. They will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes know who they were. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel." And that's what he highlighted. And that's what that was. So obviously a lot of people had a huge problem with that because it was anti-Semitic. And then obviously there was a big uproar because a lot of folks like his teammates, Marquise Goodwin, the other wide receivers, did they rally behind him too? I don't remember if Alshon Jeffrey. I think Alshon Jeffrey was implicated in it too.
Yeah, there were some other people that kind of came out and backed him on it, but
yeah, his receiving core I think was there first, and then Steven Jackson was in hot water over it. He had several interviews where he kind of doubled down on it.
Yeah, that's who it was. Steven Jackson came out and really got in the mud there.
Yeah, and so...
And who was it that... Because the Nick Cannon thing, kind of in a similar vein, he gets fired, dropped by CBS. And there was somebody that came out... Oh, it was D. Wade. Dwayne Wade came out and had a tone deaf message of support for Nick Cannon. I don't remember here what Nick Cannon said, but
it was basically along the same lines of that quote, where it was insinuating that media conglomerate members in the upper echelon were controlled. It was controlled by Jewish families. And so, there's that. It was all very interesting because obviously, this is all problematic, and you can't just shoot stuff like this into the ether and expect people to just understand that. I don't know. I'm sure none of these folks were trying to do this stuff from a malicious side, but it was the way they went about it was extremely problematic. Because on its face, these words are just straight up they are anti-Semitic. However, what I thought was interesting was that Reddit just absolutely burned these people to the ground, and I thought that was interesting just because if you have any sort of inkling or idea of the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan. I mean, it's a little bit. Louis Farrakhan is a terrible individual, but the Nation of Islam is a little bit of an interesting organization for a couple of different reasons, and it makes these views seem like they make more. I don't know how I want to word this because these views don't make sense, but given the historical context of this group, the ideology, I guess, it becomes clearer. So the Nation of Islam, if you don't know, it was a political and religious group that was formed in the 30s in Detroit, and it was formed by this guy called Wallace Fard Muhammad. And the idea was that it was formed as a social group for African Americans during the 30s there, when there was a lot of racial unrest in the United States. And it was a big drawing to African Americans at the time because it promoted a lot of black nationalism and black supremacy specifically. And where it gets its radical views is that it pretty openly advocated for separatism between black people and white people. It did advocate for segregation on the notion that black people were supreme over other races. So that's where those quotes that Deshaun Jackson shared about African Americans being the true people of God. I mean, it's all tied in this notion that black people were the first people created by God, and its ties to Islamic religious beliefs are also pretty tightly intertwined in a lot of this group's beliefs. So knowing that, I mean, it doesn't make what they said any less problematic, but this is a group that a lot of African Americans specifically look to quite a bit, because it's a group that, it's the same reason why white folks look towards groups that are very white centric. It's a place of comfort for them. So without getting too far into the weeds with this, because I'm certainly no expert on the Nation of Islam, but I remember reading about it in one of my classes in college, and when all this stuff came up, it was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, there's a ton of athletes that, pretty casually follow the Nation of Islam, and there's a lot of, just African American pop culture figures that have referenced Nation of Islam. Actors, bigger musicians that have referenced it. So in any case, I guess I wasn't super surprised that somebody would share something like that, but anyway.
Yeah, I had no knowledge of the Nation of Islam or anything. This is all a complete blind spot for me. So it just seems, and I didn't dig too deep into this story. I saw Deshaun Jackson says something anti-Semitic or post something anti-Semitic, and it was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. Why are we doing that in 2020?
Yeah, not good. Yeah, so the internet had a field day with that, and that was that. And then we quickly move on to more problematic things in the NFL world. I think yesterday, there was this ominous thing that popped up on Reddit about there's going to be a Washington Post article released, and the Redskins are bracing for it because they lawyered up. They retained the lawyer who is responsible for a number of high-profile cases involving the NCAA, involving Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice.
She was also involved with the Oklahoma City bombing trial.
Yeah, a pretty high-profile lawyer, and so everybody was trying to speculate on what is going on with this. And so the article dropped, and I think you were kind of hinting at this before we started here. I don't think this is quite all of it. It doesn't seem like this is maybe all of it, but
No,
in any
I
case...
I thought this article that came out, and we can get into it, but I thought this was separate from the big bombshell article after reading most of it. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah, the article just kind of details the sexual harassment, the chronic sexual harassment within the upper management of the Washington Redskins going back. Boy, how far back did it go here?
It said like 2006, 2000.
And then does that coincide with when Dan Snyder purchased the team?
Pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much like his entire tenure, I think.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little hazy. I'm a little hazy here on my Washington Redskins ownership history.
Yeah, me
he
too.
bought the team. When did he buy it? I don't know when he bought it. Dan Snyder, when did he buy the team? When did he buy Redskins? Okay, he bought the team in '99.
Great. So
yeah,
this falls all in this bucket.
Yeah. All right. Well, things I guess were fine for the first 7 years, and then 2006 rolled around, and then there's a new sheriff, and we're doing business a little different here.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. The article is pretty gross to read.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and I mean, there's a lot of text messages in here, which I think was like the worst part. It's like what? Yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of these text messages, like what the fuck? Like people communicate like this? Like
I gotta pull it back up here.
I can't zoom in on this one. Maybe I can. I mean, there was like this one where is a guy just like straight up asking this woman whether or not her tits were fake. It's like, settle a bet for us guys.
Me and the fellas were having a little talk around the water cooler.
Pretty much, that's literally what it was. It was like, hey, a couple of us were taking bets on whether or not your tits were fake. And I mean, there's like, yeah, like this stuff, Michael, the voice of the, see, this is some of the stuff that it's like, it's really sad to hear because it's like, Jesus Christ, if any of this shit happened with the Packers organization, this would be, I mean, I don't know what I would think about it, but this guy, the senior vice president of content, the voice of the Washington Redskins, he was caught on a hot mic speaking about the attractiveness of a college-aged intern. Oof. There was, yeah, this guy, the Santos. This story was really weird where he, I mean, just went up to this woman who had a partner and he introduced himself and like literally said he has a wife and kids and tried to ask this girl out and she said no, and then he like pinched her in the ass.
Yeah, no.
Like, what? Oh man.
Yeah, and then all these things that come out, whether it's the from a larger perspective here, whether it's this, whether it's I'm blanking on his name. Who's the Hollywood producer guy?
Harvey Weinstein?
Yes, him. Like George Hopkins in the drum corps world. Like what are we doing, fellas? Like whatever made you think that this works? Or this is alright.
Yeah. Like what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, I'm looking at this. Oh my god. Yeah, this voice of the Redskins, dude. During training camp in 2017, Michael saw a young woman from the sponsorship staff walk by and turned to one of his staffers and commented on her, quote, tight ass, before adding a remark about her social life, the staffer said. He said, you can't mess with her, though, because you know she's fucking every guy on the team, right?
Which that's a segue, and a segue to the alleged, and this is not in this article, the alleged Jay Gruden Capri Bibbs beef.
Oh man, this is hilarious if true, and I would put Capri Bibbs down as my favorite Packer of all time.
Oh wait, he was on the Packers for a minute, wasn't he?
He sure was. Back when we were having our running back woes.
Wow, I forgot. 2018. There he was. Claimed off waivers following a knee injury. Well, anyways, that's neither here nor there. So he and Jay Gruden allegedly were in having a romantic affair with the same woman, and they found out, and Jay Gruden was not happy about that and benched him. Which just happened to be the game that Alex Smith got his leg broken in half and almost died because of. Which, man, if that's true, I don't know what you would do if you're Alex Smith, but that like got to be the worst shit ever. An injury, like one of the worst injuries you could probably possibly have in the NFL, and you almost die from it. And it was and part of the reason that led to the circumstances that you took that hit were because of this petty bullshit between the head coach and the running back. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff to unpack about this just because it was like, I don't know. I know it came out a long time ago. All the videos of Jay Gruden like smoking weed and like seemingly at like a college party, like all these videos of him, and it's like it's really funny, kind of, because you thought it was just like, okay, here's a football coach who's, I mean, it's still like pretty weird because he's like hanging out with like younger women in the video. And it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, that's weird, but I don't know. I have no idea what the lifestyles are that like these people lead when they do what they do, like
that's
coaching professional football.
Yeah, it's typically not what I think of.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that it's appropriate to do that, but it's, I don't know what these guys do, and it seemed like Jay Gruden, for one, I don't know, he seemed to be running an okay ship in Washington. It never really seemed like any of the woes of the franchise were on him. It was always Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder. But, I mean, yeah, if this stuff about Capri Bibbs is true, I mean, it certainly puts those videos in a much different light, where it's like, this guy is like pretty slimy. And I mean, it certainly gives credence. I mean, when you look at stuff like John Gruden didn't bring his brother over to Las Vegas, like maybe he knew that this guy just sucks.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and listen to, I don't remember when this was, but a few months back when Jay Gruden was on PNT. Just go back and listen to that interview, kind of in a different context now.
Yeah.
See if there's any interesting nuggets now that we kind of know, or we're aware of. There's some allegations floating around here that obviously don't paint him out to be in the don't look super great for him. Yeah, so that's going on. And was this the woman at the center of this triangle? Was she one of the cheerleaders, or was she affiliated with the organization otherwise, or was this?
She was a receptionist at the Redskins facility.
Oh, yeah, okay, that doesn't help.
No, it's
good.
pretty bad.
That's bad. Like, yeah, that's a mess on its own. Regardless of the other harassment going on with and they identified 15 women in the Washington Post article. I don't know if this person with the Capri Bibs, Jay Gruden, if she's one of the 15, I would guess so, but maybe there's not. So these are just 15 people that I have reached out or have been identified. There's probably more.
Yeah, well, the big thing in here was that out of those people, I think 14 of them were forced to sign an NDA by the franchise, and the Washington Post requested that they be freed from these NDAs in order to speak on this, and the Redskins declined that request, which I think was probably the biggest bombshell in this entire thing, that the Redskins forced all these women to sign NDAs, and then when confronted with the fact that they're covering up all of these sexual harassment and assault allegations, they pretty much doubled down on it and said fuck off. So that in itself, I mean, I think is a pretty terrible look for a franchise, especially in light of, I mean, the 2018, I think it's 2018, the cheerleading scandal stuff where they were pimping out cheerleaders for people to buy box seats or seats to see them at photo shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
Or literal prostitution.
Yeah, that's... I vaguely remember that coming up and thinking that's pretty wild, and it goes deeper apparently.
I mean, to me, it's amazing that like that story just like came and went.
Yeah.
Like it was like, holy shit. Like, this is extremely problematic. But in any case, I mean, hopefully more things will come out with this, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess we didn't even mention this, but the Washington Redskins are undergoing a name change.
Oh, yeah, that would have been... See, here's the thing. Like, Dan Snyder should have waited. He should have waited till, like, next week and then be like, oh, by the way, yeah, we'll change the name. Like, that would have been a classic... Hey, forget about all this stuff. Look at this shiny new thing we're doing. We're going to change the name finally, as a PR move. It's a PR move nonetheless. But if he would have held out for 2 more weeks, he could have used it a little bit better to his advantage. Not saying it's right to do that, but it would have been an interesting distraction.
People were saying that they were trying to use it as an advantageous tool to get ahead of this stuff.
Oh, there you go.
So that they could release this, we're going to change our name and try to claim, a moral victory before, this big story drops on the terrible culture of this organization. And then when we change the name, it'll, signify a new chapter in the organization.
Clean slate.
Exactly.
I don't think it's going to work.
This particular blog that I got the Jay Gruden Capri Bibs thing on suggests that they be named the Washington Vengeful Cucks. Very good.
The Vengeful Cucks.
I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. So, in any case, it'll be interesting to see what they change the name to. It will be interesting to see if any more stuff comes out with this. Certainly, because it seems like there's more stuff that hasn't quite reached the airwaves. We'll see. Yeah.
I just really like the idea that what they're going to do with this name change is change it to something more offensive and just completely tone deaf, and then switch back to Redskins at some point.
I really like the Onion articles that came out with it. All right, everybody, we've changed our name. We'll now be known as the DC Redskins.
The Landover, Maryland. Redskins.
Finally, got rid of the offensive word in there.
Capital City Redskins. We're not having the slave owner George Washington associated with our team anymore.
There were a lot of good ones in there in like various Reddit threads. There was one guy who would not get off. He was like, I petitioned to name them the Washington Hogs. And like he was on all of these threads. Like, I'm throwing it out there again, the Washington Hogs.
Is this the guy that owns all the trademarks?
I don't know.
Oh, there's an article I read today. This guy, just as a hobby over the last, I don't know, a number of years, has just trademarked Washington. I think Hogs is one of them. Washington Hogs, Washington Red Wolves. He just kind of owns all the trademarks for a lot of these, like, proposed. He said he's got 44 of them, and I think all the leading candidates, I think he has the trademark for Washington Warriors, Washington Red Wolves, Red Tails, I think Capitals, Monuments. Well, not Capitals. I think the hockey team probably has that. But
the Bullets.
He's got all these. Yeah, he's got all these silly trademarks. And it's funny reading it because when you have to pay like $275 to trademark it, and you have to use it for commerce, so he'd just like print up 100 mugs of Washington, whatever variation of the name, and then sell them on a store for like $1 on some like e-commerce site and sell none of them, but it did something to maintain like the absolute minimum level to maintain the trademark. Now, me being the opportunist, I was thinking like, oh, this guy's gonna bend him over the barrel, and he's gonna score a huge payday if they do actually choose one of these names that he has control of the trademark of. But he's like, no, actually, I don't want to do that. I'll sell it to them for $1 if they want to use one of them. They should be looking at this as a victory. Yeah, he's not trying. He's a Redskins fan, or a fan of the team, and yeah, he's like, yeah, if I can help, that'd be really cool. Really don't want to be an obstacle. This should be a win for them. He's basically, yeah, I know. I was like, what are you doing, you idiot?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, why are you spending all that money if the idea wasn't to like strike gold?
Doing it as a hobby. Doing it for the love of the game.
What kind of hobby is that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand. I get like the novelty of owning a trademark. Kind of neat, I guess. But 44 of them, I think past that point of it being novel. I think the novelty wears off.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, $275 a pop. That adds up.
100%.
So, yeah, basically this guy was going out there and just reserving all these trademarks, sitting, saving a seat for the real team if and when they need them.
Here you go. Saved it for you. It'd be really funny if he was just saying that and then, yeah, behind closed doors. All right, guys. 100 million.
How bad do you want it?
Take it or leave it. I've got your top 10 choices, all trademarked.
Hey, where are those cheerleaders I've been reading so much about?
Oh, shit. God damn.
This guy turns out to be also very problematic.
Yeah, as it turns out, nothing about this organization is good.
And I threw this. This is complete rampant speculation, but I threw this out to you earlier today. Just like, is Ghislaine Maxwell the Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirator? Is she at all involved with this, or was Jeffrey Epstein involved with any of this?
See, that shit would be wild. Is if this turned out to be like just one big giant world-class conspiracy. They dig up and find these pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell with Dan Snyder.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein's in a box for a game back in 2008.
Yeah, and it's like, oh shit.
No. Oh no. Which would not be the craziest thing in the world. With the high-profile people that have absolutely been confirmed with him already, the NFL executive would be not surprising at all.
I'm just I'm doing a quick Google search here, see if
Dan Snyder, Jeff Epstein images.
Yeah, that's what I did. I don't see anything. I don't think there's anything here. In any case,
man, did you watch that documentary on him, on Jeff Epstein?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yucky.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
I'll have to watch it. I mean, yeah. One of those topics where I am aware of what happened, but when somebody breaks it down and explains it, I'm sure it'll just be absolutely mortifying.
Yeah, the TLDR version of it is this man set up a pyramid scheme, a sex pyramid scheme for underage kids.
Oh.
He would somehow, you got one, and then he'd say, hey, I'll give if you bring a friend, I'll give them $50 too, or whatever it was, and then, got more people in their downline.
Yikes.
So, yeah, it's really bad. There's one part where one of the lawyers for the victims is like, all right, let's just try and figure out how big is this? And they kept talking to all these people, and they had like a big whiteboard, and it's like, oh, damn it, this isn't big enough. So I have this like whole room of just, okay, this person got this person, and they were connected to this person, who recruited her, who brought this person there, and it just kept going. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, this isn't big enough. God damn. Well, yeah, I'll need to give it a watch. See what it has.
So, anyways, the more fun part about this scandal, indirectly related to all the sexual harassment allegations, is the Dan Snyder's allegedly paying referees off.
Yeah, which, well, that was the big bombshell that I guess we all kind of expected. Whether or not it's going to come to light, remains to be seen. It may just be smoke, but
yeah, there are rumors out there that Dan Snyder was paying off referees, and the juicier part was that other owners were doing it too.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. If this would obviously be huge for the NFL if this were true. I just think it's interesting, and it's what all these like articles are saying right now. With in relation to this, it's like if Washington did truly do this, what an absolute sad state of affairs to have spent money on something like that and to still be an absolute just mediocrity case of an NFL team, at best going like 8-7-1.
Yeah, like I made the comparison to Kansas getting in hot water with the NCAA, and that's mostly centered around the basketball team. But oh, by the way, recruiting violations are also associated with the Kansas football team, which wins a game sometimes. Which you're cheating, but you're not even. It's not even worth it.
Right. Kinda.
But the door being open for other owners being potentially implicated in paying off referees is I think other more interesting, because at this point there's no one else by name associated, so it could be any of the 30 other owners and then the Packers and de facto owner Mark Murphy. So who knows to what extent any of this is true, and then if it's some of the owners, all the owners, none of the owners, it opens the door where you can go back and look at any questionable call over, I don't know, however far you want to go back, and any questionable referee decision, and it puts it in a whole different context. The first one coming to mind, obviously, was the missed PI call in the 2017 NFC Championship game. Was Stan Kroenke paying off the refs to go to the Super Bowl? I don't know. It's worth asking the question now.
Was that in 2017?
Or January of 2018.
This is 2017 season, though.
I believe so.
Damn. Such a long time ago.
It was 2 years ago.
What was the 2018 season? Who played in that Super Bowl?
As the, wait.
I think it was 2018.
Wait, never mind. It was 2018. I'm a year off. Yeah, the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl was 2 years ago.
Yes. But yes, everything you're saying is correct. It would be, I mean, I don't know. There were people that were trying to find clips of, like, this apparently happening, like this game-fixing stuff. I mean, I sent you the clip of Duke Johnson losing the fumble against the Redskins, but coming out of the pile with the ball, and the refs still blowing it for the Redskins, which was just a hilarious clip to watch. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's like Duke loses the ball, and then it bounces back to him, and then he gets up out of the pile, and he's holding the ball. The ref's not even looking at him. They're, like, looking in the pile, and they signal for, Redskins ball.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that one obviously is a bit of a, I don't know if that proves anything. It could just be a guy being incompetent, but...
Yeah, that's the problem with going back and looking now. I mean, all you can do is ask the question: Is this part of the bribing scandal here of potential game fixing by owners? Based on what we know now, I have no idea. With the Astros thing, the way it was laid out and in the open, you can go back and dig up pretty easily, as John Boy did. Just, hey, okay, they're banging a trash can. Here's the audio here's the video from the game. Here's the game feed. Listen, there's the trash can. Here's pictures of the setup. There, you laid it out. It was laid out pretty easily to figure out where you could go back and just find clips of them in the act doing it. You had the smoking gun. In this case, you don't know. Based on what we know so far, there's no way at this point, to decipher between incompetence and game fixing and malicious intent. By the referees on behalf of an owner paying the highest bill.
Yes.
It just opens up a huge can of worms that now that this rumor's out there, regardless if it's true or not, the rumor's out there, and any middle-aged drunk guy in a stand is gonna be, they're paying the refs off, and now it's like, well, I don't know, maybe. You can't immediately dismiss that guy, the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories on game fixing now, which sucks, but it is kind of fun also, because you always have something to bitch about. You can always, anytime your team loses a game now, you can bitch and say, well, the other team probably paid off the refs. Refs screwed us. That has much more credibility now.
I know. Well, right. This is it. Like you were saying earlier. We already don't trust the referees a whole lot in NFL, and that's why there were calls for things like when the XFL was starting to implement Sky Judge, and a ton of people were like, this is what the NFL needs, because things like the 2018 PI call with the Saints-Rams, that happened. Things that came to mind for me were, when the Packers played the Lions 2 times.
Oh, shit.
The Packers, the Trey Flowers face mask on Dave Bakhtiari, I think it was.
Yeah, the Phantom hands to the face.
Yeah, hands to the face, that's what it was. I guess the face mask I was thinking of was when Aaron Rodgers had that Hail Mary against Detroit. A number of years ago.
Yeah, back in 2015, that was a very questionable face mask call to set up the end time down.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. Yeah, well, yeah. There was, the Hail Mary, the Seahawks and Packers back in 2012, I think that was.
Yeah, that one's a little different. Just because it was that was the last game of we had the replacement refs, which if the regular referees are compromised, you got to assume that the replacement refs were absolutely compromised or much more susceptible to being compromised.
Right. Yeah.
I think we need to get out the the NFL needs to borrow the NCAA's magic marker, and we need to vacate some wins here.
Oh, yes, the tried and true punishment, vacating the wins. Yeah. Man. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of stuff here, and I mean, part of me, like I was saying before, hopes that, I mean, some of this referee stuff is true because, I mean, frankly, I do think the NFL needs some sort of third party something, even if Sky Judge is more or less just a figurehead. It's not really necessarily like a third party analyst. It's it's the idea of a third party, but it's controlled ultimately by...
It's the illusion of control.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous to see. I mean, it was... it's tough because, like, this last season, they tried to have the penalty, the pass interference reviews. Like, the coaches could challenge that.
It ended up being a terrible experiment that failed.
Yeah, it ended up being like the points of like a picket line almost between the refs and like the NFL as a entity. It was really strange to see this happen because it was like, what? Like this idea that the referees were getting, upset with the idea that their authority could be challenged by coaches, and so they would just double down on their calls, even when some of these pass interference calls were questionable. And so that was interesting because obviously this came off the heels of what we were talking about, the Rams-Saints PI call that was dog shit. And then they're like, okay, we'll implement this measure so that coaches can challenge this. And then referees just like took a big shit on it. And so, I mean, I think in sort of like a retribution fashion, I would like something to come out here just so that referees could basically, I mean, it's like the NFL would be forced essentially to take these things a little bit more seriously and to, I mean, it's kind of like, I think it's the same reason I get upset with like umps in baseball, because it's like, why the fuck do umpires have like a personality? Like, why do we even know any of your names?
Oh yeah, well, it's way
baseball
worse.
Is much further on the spectrum to an extreme level that I do not agree with, but I think the NFL referees, like, doubling down on PI starts to move the needle towards that direction, where you're not getting individualism necessarily quite yet, but you certainly are getting this idea that referees have, they're not impartial. They have feelings, and they get hurt when you challenge their calls. And that shouldn't be the fucking case.
No, it should be just get it right by whatever means possible.
Right. I understand that the human side of having referees in the game is interesting because it does introduce factors like you can't just like shit all over like a referee, and this is more of a thing that I guess is discussed in like NBA and in MLB, where you can have interactions like at the plate or on the court, and you need to kind of warm up to an official in order to make sure the night goes your way. And I think that's, I think it's dumb, but it's like part of the game, I guess. But anyway, I think there's a difference between that and referees, just clowning on people because they fucking can, because they got big dick syndrome.
You ever watched any of the highlights of college basketball referee Ted Valentine?
No.
He's the only college basketball referee I know by name. And this college basketball podcast I listen to, they love to talk Just loved bringing up TV Teddy. He's done shit like where fuck, I don't remember what it was, but it was really it was a really good one where back when Bob Knight was at Indiana, Bob Knight was, I don't know, he was bitching at him and something. And he tossed him out of the game, and then like did it really exuberantly. Wait, no. That's not what it was. I'm misremembering this. What it was one of the Indiana players got hurt, and Bob Knight, who had been tearing into him the whole game, goes out there just to check on the player, and he gets tossed because he thought he was coming to bitch at the referee.
Oh.
So there's that one. There was the I think it was an ACC game. I don't remember who was playing, but something happens. Player's not happy and starts just like barely starts complaining to him, and he tees him up, and then he turns around and crosses his arm and puts his back to the player. It was like, what the fuck?
Well,
wait, I got teed up for nothing, and then you're just gonna turn your back on me? What are you doing, man?
Man.
So those are some good ones. There's more, but yeah, he's definitely got a personality, which is not great. But yeah, it's referees, man. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happens if it comes out if there's this taking bribes that gets substantiated. Like, those guys are gone for sure, right? And
Yeah,
referee that took a bribe, they gotta go.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. I don't know. Like, you can't have this. Yeah.
Is it worse than the Tim Donaghy NBA gambling scandal, where he was betting on games?
I mean, I think it's worse than that. I mean, you're just like, if you're
yeah,
somebody was I agree with somebody who speculated that it's probably not quite as straightforward as refs like getting money to straight up fix games. It probably does have some sort of betting implication intertwined in it. So in that regard, I don't know if it's worse like as a whole than the Donaghy thing, but I mean, if it was straight up, here's $1 million, make sure that we get the calls, then yeah, I do think that's
Dan
worse.
Snyder just rolling around at FedEx Field and just stops by the referee dressing room and is just like, fellas, here's the bag. Let's go get a dub out there tonight. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. You can't do that.
No.
That's way worse. But no, yeah, I'm sure if it's true, again, I'm sure it was not as these guys were not that brazen about it.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. It'll be a fucking time if things come out here with all this stuff.
Yeah, it's just crazy how many different angles are coming out of this rumor, and hopefully, well, the sexual harassment stuff is definitely true here, based on the Washington Post report. But some of these other things are just, there's a lot going on. That all coupled with the name changes. Whew.
Oof is
right. A lot
right.
of stuff going on in Washington.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. So in any case, yeah. Is there anything else happening in the world right now?
Closer to home here, Packers announced no fans at training camp, family night, or the one home preseason game.
Nice.
And I assume that'll mean for us, no Tundra Band.
Oh yeah, I suppose we can make the announcement here now that both of us made the 2020 Tundra line.
We're back, baby. Run it back.
Bringing back Sam Bieneman coming off a Pro Bowl season.
Yep, contract extension.
Glad to be able to retain Pro Bowl caliber talent on the tenor line here.
I think, has everybody been all pro?
I honestly don't know.
Not Kelvin, I don't think.
Oh yeah, you're right. Probably not. He's too new.
Probably the other four of us, though.
Why not put us all on the
all-pro we'll if not, we're retroactively awarding All-Pro status to Ben and Brian. I know Ben for sure was one. Brian is now.
Yeah, Brian.
All-Pro.
Yeah, we'll put Brian and Calvin on this 2020 Pro Bowl or All-Pro selection here. In any way, yeah.
So if that even happens this year.
Yeah, I had a call with Patrick the other week, and I mean he's still. I see, like, I mean I was talking to him because he still seemed unsure that we'd be able to like hire new people. And I mean, I told him, it was like, I see all these postings for stuff, man, like all these game day postings. Like, you gotta imagine, like, the hiring freeze is done, right? And he's like, well, I asked him about that, and apparently they didn't give him a straightforward answer on that. And so he was like, I'm really worried that if they like cancel all this stuff, all these people that they're trying to hire, they're just gonna be like, well, there's no fans, so see you later.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense for the Packers to proceed as if they're going to have all those game day employees be there, just because they need so I don't know how many, but they need a lot of people just to make the game go from for those game day positions. So I'm not surprised that they're moving forward preparing as if there's going to be fans. It's a question at this point, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, right. We'll see what happens. We were talking about earlier. Our first performance is going to be August 22nd. I think is what we've figured out. If it happens, yeah. There's still talk that these preseason games may just not happen at all, which wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world, just considering the state of affairs that the country's in right now. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Otherwise, wait until September, which it is what it is. If we get any performances this year, I think I'll take that as a win, probably.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I've certainly run out of things to talk about.
One more fun thing I did today at work, just to kill some time. I went through. There's a Reddit post I was interacting with. Some guy was saying, "Yeah, there's probably not gonna be football, so just comment below some noteworthy Wisconsin games from whenever, and me and my buddies are gonna watch them as if there's games going on when there won't be current games going on." So I was like, oh, okay, take a trip down memory lane, threw a couple in there. We've done this before, gone through and talked about our favorite games in the past. I ended up going through and then in the Wikipedia page for each season of Badger football, I was like, okay, what happened in 2013? Okay, 2012, any good games there? I ended up going back all the way to 18, whatever, the first season. I clicked through every goddamn season, all 100 and however many. Good Lord, those teams in the 80s. Like, we always heard about how bad the teams in the 80s were. And without watching any of them, any of the highlights or any games or anything, just like looking at the record, and I was like, Jesus Christ, 1-10, 4-7, 4-7, 3-8, just like Jesus. Oh, hey, 6-6,
very bad.
Got to 500, but damn, there wasn't as many bowl games back then, so definitely not going to a bowl game. There was one noteworthy year back in, I don't remember what it was, back in the 50s maybe, where they went like 10-0-1, and some, not the AP, not the coaches poll, some other media entity awarded the Badgers a national title that I don't think they recognize. So I gotta look that one up. I want to print the T-shirts. 1954 NCAA national champions per, and the very small, the finest print per Deedle Dum, Deedle Do sports writer from the 50s.
That'd be good.
So look for that on the Teespring store. Oh, also just looking at some of the opponents from back in the 1905. Oh, we're playing Wisconsin alumni. I want to put that on our schedule. The worst one was they lost to Wisconsin alumni one year.
Oh,
The
no.
regular team lost to the alumni team.
Oh, no.
There were a couple other seasons where they were playing Wisconsin. All right, Wisconsin beats Wisconsin freshmen. It's like, come on. Are we counting this? Are we counting games, like inter-squad games? I guess
Games
so.
against the freshmen?
Yeah.
18-year-olds?
Oh, but it gets better. There's games that we counted against high schools, against Madison High School.
God, man. Fuck.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun to look back at all these games. I mean, again, this is 120 years ago, so yeah, the game was a little different, and it just kind of been thought of. But still,
I suppose on its face, though, it's still 18 to 22-year-olds beating up on 15 to 18-year-olds. So that part hasn't changed in 120 years.
nope. And yeah, just seeing some of the other schools that they're playing against. That,
Can you imagine a fucking
don't exist
senior just
anymore.
laying out a fucking high school, like, sophomore?
Yeah. Yeah, I got laid out by high school seniors when I was a high school sophomore, so back in my playing days. So I can't imagine playing against, the
A
University of
grown
Wisconsin.
boy.
Yes. Albeit it was, again, the game was different back then, but was it?
I mean, still take that guy and then make him 4 years older and also 50 pounds heavier.
Yeah, we were talking about this when we went down to Chicago a lot, which feels like forever ago. Man, I think I could probably hold my own in high school football, like right now as a 24-year-old.
Fuck, when was that? Was that like February?
I think so, man.
Fuck, dude, that feels like it was a year ago. I think you're right, though. I think it was right before coronavirus really popped off.
Yeah, about a month before it. We beat it by a month, and Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
It's a whole different world back then.
Fucking
Going out in public.
Having weddings. Imagine. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, being able to take on high school footballer players right now, like, I don't know. I probably am not as athletic as a lot of those folks. Like, I probably couldn't play defense. Or maybe I could play I could play outside linebacker.
I think you could be a pretty good middle linebacker.
Okay.
You could fucking you could fuck up some kids. You get a full head of steam coming downhill. A little undersized, yeah, maybe, but I think strength is in your favor.
I was thinking, well, I could play high school running back.
There you go. Oh, dude, you'd be a good high school fullback right now.
Lead some blocks.
Dude, yeah, just crack some skulls. Open up some holes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, strong safety. I'm going to play strong safety.
There you go. No fly zone over the middle.
That's right. Coming over the middle. Get ready to fucking plan your own funeral, motherfucker. Yeah. In any case, yeah, I could probably do that. I could probably play high school ball. It's great. Well, so every now and then I look up, there are a few NFL players who are actually like around my height, like Tariq Cohen and like Boston Scott and Danny Woodhead and trying to think other dudes.
Darren
Sproles, yeah, he's another guy. I don't think. I'm looking up Austin Eckler's height. I don't think he's as short as me. I think he's probably like 5. Yeah, he's 5'10". Anyway, these dudes. Well, like, so yeah, Austin Eckler here, 5'10", 200 pounds, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Let me look up Tariq Cohen here. Tariq Cohen, 5'6", 180. Like, fuck, man. At the probably around May, I think. I was doing quarantine things, and I don't know. I was going to the gym, this basement gym, and I was like hitting some like crazy gains, and I was like squatting a whole bunch of weight. I was benching more than I've benched, and I thought that was just because I was coming off of like an injury in my shoulder. It was like, all right, I'm regaining strength, but I mean, I was like pressing like quite a bit, and I mean, I was squatting 300 pounds for like 3 to 5 reps, and it was like, oh shit, like, what is going on? I was like, these plates must be weighted differently. And then I had not weighed myself in some time. And so, I mean, with quarantine, as one does, I don't really get up and move around a lot in the workday. I kind of sit around. Since then, I have gone on more walks because I stepped on the scale, and I think I was like 179. I was like point 0.8 from being 180, and it was like, oh man,
Is that
180.
high or low for you?
It's definitely the heaviest I've ever been.
I don't have a scale at home here, and there was one I was just up north this past weekend in Door County, my aunt and uncle's place, and they had a scale there. I was like, how much do I weigh? So the last time I weighed myself might have been a while back, before I kind of started being more active and trying to eat better. That I've been doing for like the last year and a half. But yeah, I was at the Dells, I think my last year in school, and there's some water slide where you had to make sure that you were under whatever the weight limit was, and I got on there and it was like 200. I was like, what? Well, this probably isn't calibrated. Like, oh, whatever. And then I don't remember what it was, but I weighed myself again somewhere else, and I was like, oh, it's still 200. That's...
I'm 200.
Yeah, that's... I didn't think I was quite that big. But, anyways, I weighed myself the other day, this past weekend, I was like 180. I was like, that's probably better.
Oh, damn. You're 180?
I don't think my weight has fluctuated 20 pounds in the last 3 years, but...
Dude, it's possible.
Maybe. It doesn't look like it.
I mean, if you changed all that stuff, I mean, I don't think it's totally out of this world. If you were getting more active and eating better stuff, I weighed myself the other day. I think I'm down to 167. It's definitely possible over the period of like a few months to do. But in any case,
yeah, something happened. I don't even remember when I noticed this, but like there was one day a couple years ago, probably I think since I graduated and moved up here, and I was definitely way less active when I first moved up here and adjusting to office life. And I noticed in the mirror one day, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, what the fuck? Why do I got all these fucking stretch marks all around me? This was not like this some period of time ago. I don't know when it happened. I don't know when I first really noticed it, but I was like, well, this was not... I did not always look like this. I'm not like, huge. I'm not... When I never looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my god, I can't... You know, I'm not a huge fat fuck, but... I don't know, I guess
we're on our way.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, time to do something about this. And I guess we're getting there.
Hell yeah, man. Because are you still doing this keto thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it. I'm still trying to do that.
Meat, it's what's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, I have for a while. I've been, I don't remember when I first started doing this, but I was doing the intermittent fasting thing, just not eating breakfast, going 16 hours between meals. I tried doing that. I think I kind of plateaued after doing that for a while. So now I'm doing that, and I'm just not eating. I'm trying to reduce my carb and sugar intake. Although, this past weekend up north eating with the rest of my family was not good. Yeah, I had some pancakes and some waffles and some cookies and brownies and sandwiches and some beers. But I was on vacation, so whatever. And the week before I was traveling for work, and I did not realize until so I've only been doing this like a couple weeks now, and I was like traveling for work, I'm out in Omaha, I'm on the road looking for something to eat, like, man, there's bread in fucking everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, I I can't just get a bowl of meat. Well, I can. I can go to Chipotle and get like triple chicken, but I didn't do that. But whatever. I mean, eating a Subway sandwich isn't gonna kill me.
No, and I mean to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think it's like. I think limiting your carbohydrate intake will certainly make you lose weight, but I mean, yeah, you don't need to like cut it all out.
Yeah, I'm not being super strict about it. I think when I'm just at home and like during the week here when I'm going to work and just eating at home, it's easier just to do because I'm not cooking for other people. I'm not with other people, so if I can just do that and then just be more conscious about it, I think that's a step in the right direction. I'm not being again because I'm not. If I was 300 pounds or something, and I was like had this come to Jesus moment where I needed to do something. And that's what I see like on this subreddit I'm in, this keto subreddit, and he's like, oh, I've lost 150 pounds in a year and a half. Like, well, that's not going to happen because I don't have 150 pounds to lose.
Yeah, I would literally be dead.
Yes. So that I'm not too worried about being super strict about it, but trying to be more conscious about it at least.
Yeah, right. I mean, being able to just like, I mean, I don't know. It is hard to like take that jump where it's. I mean, cutting back on food in general is really hard. I think like it's the things it does to your mind and like your physical well-being. I mean, it's the effects that it can have. It's pretty. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. Like even like if you're not like doing anything crazy, like none of these things that where people are losing like 150 fucking pounds, or I mean maybe these people aren't doing anything crazy, but it's I mean even cutting back like a little bit, like can you have like sleeplessness or you these hunger pangs that it's like, oh my god, can't do anything right now. Or mood shifts, stuff like that. I remember reading one thing. There was like an article on the reduction of carbohydrate intake, and it was I don't remember what it was, why I was reading this, but it was a pretty crazy study that was showing like it's why like when you go to like cut back on this stuff, why it should be a gradual cut, like for the most part, because it's a much more sustainable way to do that is to gradually cut back on things and then reach a point where you're comfortable with this and settle into a bit of a routine. But like when you cut back very suddenly, like if you went to consuming 40 grams of carbohydrates per meal to like 5
a day,
yeah, that would be even crazier. But yeah, the idea of doing that, like your body like would get physically ill.
And I think that's a lot of part of that is your gut biome.
Yes,
from what I've read, and that's the thing I've read a whole bunch about. But beware in the first week if you start doing this, if you take a huge jump and make a huge lifestyle or diet change, you're gonna get like flu-like symptoms. That hasn't happened to me, so I don't know.
Doing something right. My gut biome is perfectly okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't eat. Like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, like before I started doing this, I had a loaf of bread and I was like, man, I'm just gonna eat. I ate half a loaf of bread and just put butter on it and ate that one night. Like, yeah. I could probably just do without that. So.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I treated myself a couple weekends ago, and I got these from Festival. They got these donuts that I really like. I got 6 of them, so I had one that night. One donut, not going to kill me, and I ate the other 5 the next morning.
Hell yeah!
Damn it! Damn it, Sam. Self control is still an issue. It's still a work in progress here, but
oh,
we'll get there.
That reminds me of when we'd go to the fucking Woodman's and you'd pick the bargain bin desserts that were there at the fucking bakery section right when you walk in. Oh, a little Danish. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, man, my fucking sweet tooth is it's been a bit much at times.
It's there.
Yeah, I was looking at the other day, getting like these keto protein shakes. That's probably the next step.
Okay.
Didn't pull the trigger on it yet, but maybe.
What is a keto protein shake?
Well, I don't know. It's just a bunch of powder, and I'll send it to you. You know more about this stuff
I'm
than I
just
do.
wondering what the difference between a keto protein. I'm assuming that it's
low carb.
yeah.
I guess I don't really know what a regular just whey protein is from a nutritional value.
Well, there's a couple of different types of like whey protein. There's like cheaper stuff and stuff, frankly, that I get. We'll call whey concentrate, where it it is what you think it is, where it includes several different types of simple carbs packed into the protein that's included into it. I think it has like leucine and I can't think of the other ones here. Anyway, yes, it does have significant carbohydrates in it, but that form of protein, it is generally a lot easier for the body to ingest that and to do what it needs to do in order to aid in muscle recovery. Because ingesting stuff like simple carbs post-workout is important for the rebuilding process. So that's why it includes all those extra carbs, because it's the most pragmatic way for the body to get what it needs in muscle recovery, which is what whey protein shakes are generally used for. But there is a thing called whey protein isolate, and that might be something that more what you're looking at. And that is, what, again, the word kind of suggests, and it's a much more refined, and it's a little bit more expensive form of whey protein, where it is pretty much just whey with it undergoes another refining process where it cuts a ton of those carbohydrates out. And bodybuilders and weightlifters, I guess in general, will use whey isolate when they're cutting, because it does remove those excess carbs when you take it post, pre-workout, what have you, intra-workout. And it has less fat as well, so it is like a pretty much like a purified form of protein. In any case,
I don't know. I guess I'm cutting. That's all I'm doing here.
Cutting.
Trying to see if all the sit-ups I've done actually have made a difference.
Hell yeah. You should just build a garage gym in your company's basement where you're setting up shop.
So how would that be different than what's just down there already?
Well, just really outfit it like I guess I'm not explaining this, but let me pull up a picture here. Pull up this. Here we go. Here's a good pic. Copy. Paste. Shit. I gotta do this through Facebook. Every garage gym looks exactly the same. Every single one that I see on Instagram, it's the same sort of style. All right, here we go. Where Sam? Paste. I sent it on Facebook. Did I send it? Yeah, I did.
All right. So you're talking about the decor here?
Yeah, the black floor mats, and then
Got that.
everywhere on the
Check.
walls there's just flags with things on them. There's usually there's an American flag up there, and then perhaps there's a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, or maybe the prisoner of war flag, the MIA one.
Yep.
Yeah, there's one of those. Maybe a Wisconsin state flag. Maybe that Saturdays are for the boys flag.
Oh, for sure.
That one up there. I don't
Throw
know.
my college up there. Throw a Bucky.
Yeah, all that shit.
Well, I like this Oklahoma State one with it's a black and orange. It's an American flag, but it's black and orange stripes with Oklahoma State's logo. Yeah, all on top of the stars.
Yes, that one. That's exactly it. Yeah, Amir. Yeah, this guy hung a fucking T-shirt up there from a fucking weightlifting meet, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hang my Arizona State T-shirt up.
Yeah,
perfect.
Or your Tinder hat or whatever.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
No,
I wear that too much. No, I'm kidding. I don't wear it ever.
Wear it on all my dates. Yeah. In any case, yeah, all this equipment that's like all different colors, and then yeah, like a little fan. That fan that's sitting on the ground really ties the picture together. Just like a little like circle fan that sits on the ground, kind of blows the air around, but you have the door fucking closed.
So you're not really exchanging any fresh air in there.
Yeah, you're just like blowing the air around.
You know, this wouldn't be that difficult to recreate here. This picture. At work in the basement.
The more I've honestly researched it, the more like, I mean, there's a couple of accounts that I follow that are like garage gym review things or garage gym whatever, and it was pretty cool seeing like some of the breakdowns of like equipment and stuff, and like the cost over time of like investing in this stuff if you have the space to do it, compared to like buying a membership at a gym, and like how quickly like that trade-off pays off. Like it's like, I think in a matter of like 2 to 3 years, all of that equipment that you buy is like basically paid off from like a
compared to your membership, your gym dues.
Right. And it's pretty easy to see because like what, like a 40, like we'll say a commercial gym goes for $30 to $40, so about $30 to $40 a month, I should say, and so we'll say $35 a month. So 35, that's $420 a year.
Nice.
And then over 3 years, that's $1,200 already. $1,260 for 3 years at a commercial gym. So yeah, I mean, with that kind of money, you could easily buy a fucking power rack, barbell, set of weights, you know, and that's kind of the bread and butter of fucking exercise right there. So in any,
you can add on from there.
Well, exactly. I mean, right, and these like, you know, you don't necessarily need like state of the art fucking stuff.
All the shit weighs the same.
Well, exactly. As long as you understand like what the movements do, you know, it's, I don't know. Really, like truly, like a power rack would like pretty much be like you could use that and then just that and that's it. Like,
yeah, they'll get you most everything you need to do.
It will literally get you everything you need to do. Having other stuff would be nice, but I mean, really, just that like would basically be everything you could possibly need and want. But so anyway, yeah, I've been looking
the
at
same argument for buying all that stuff and just having it yourself. That's the same argument for buying a house as opposed to renting.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's totally like a parallel argument. Right. I mean, there's just so much more shit you can do, and it's right. The convenience thing with both of these things are relatively similar. Where I don't know, buying a gym membership is obviously easier because you don't need to fucking maintain anything. You don't need to look after any of this equipment. You just kind of throw it around and then you walk out.
How much different is that from if you're in your garage? You set it up at first, build the thing or whatever, and then you move it, you lift and you put it back and you're done.
Yeah.
Don't even have to wipe it down if you don't want to.
Right. Honestly, though, like every once in a while, you may need to, give the bar a good cleaning, but that's it. I don't know. If you're, I don't know. Plates don't really break, especially if you buy like plates that are like rubber plates, bumper plates, things like that. Dropping it on the ground, it's not gonna break it. Anyway, it's looking at all this stuff, man. It's like one of the only reasons like buying property sounds exciting to me right now.
So you can also buy gym equipment.
Well, going to this basement gym, man, has made me like, I thought at first going to the gym, it's like, man, the gym is an atmosphere. It's a place where, people act like the social like atmosphere of a gym is so fucking weird, but it's hilarious to me. Like, just going to a gym and the idea of all these people standing around not speaking to each other, but like kind of having this like, non-vocal body language with each other, and like these like these social things that you can and cannot do in a gym.
It's so primal.
It's very interesting, yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, man, if I got a garage gym, like I'd never be able to like do any of this stuff. And I started working on this basement, and it's like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why did I think any of that shit was cool? Like, all that shit's so weird and dumb. Like, the idea of like going to this fucking place and you just like have your music in, and I mean, like with the Shell specifically, it's like, fuck, man, I like some of these people might as well just be some of my best friends, because I see you like 5 days out of the week, every single fucking week for years.
Never said a word.
Yeah, like I don't even know your name, but I could recognize your face from like 5 miles away.
Have this complete nonverbal relationship.
Absolutely. And so in any case, yeah, I know it's not quite the same going to like a university rec center that it is like going to like a commercial gym. I think that there's still quite a bit of like, there's quite a bit of freedom, frankly, at these like university facilities, and there's obviously a lot more young folks going to these places, so you don't run into like the perils of like a commercial gym where people don't like you dropping weight and this kind of stuff like that. I have a story for you though. The other week I went on a bike ride, and I went to the south side of Madison, and I wound up over by where Madtown Fitness is.
Is that place across from Brian's studio?
It was across from there, but it moved to this other location that's kind of on the south side. It's not quite that far south, I don't think. Not on Stewart Street. And so anyway, I was, kind of interested. I was like, well, gyms are reopening. Like, I wonder what this place is like and what's going on here. And it is like a literal like a garage gym. It's like a big warehouse, and they have the garage doors open. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. I mean, this is I think I like this definitely more than like an indoor facility. And I called their number. Somebody let me into the door. I was like, hey, I just want to like look around if it's okay. And they're like, yeah, of course. And I looked around, and I mean, it literally was like somebody bought a bunch of gym equipment and just threw it in a warehouse. Like, no rhyme or reason. Like, bought a bunch of plates at a fucking garage sale, and then like threw them on these racks. So all these racks have like different kinds of plates, and it's like, oh, okay. And then so I was like, well, this is very interesting. And when I walked in, it's like, oh, there's only like 4 or 5 people in here. I was like, huh, interesting. And then I walked around the corner, and there must have been like 30 fuckers, like all just in one group, hanging out on these like this one power rack. It was like, absolutely not. And I left. It was like, man.
Weren't you telling me too? It was like they wanted to sign you up for like a year at minimum?
Yeah. Oh, did I already tell you about this story?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. That was another thing with this thing. It was like, oh yeah, we're letting people sign up on a 12-month contract as opposed to a 24.
Oh, that's right. They're cutting you a deal there.
Like, what?
Yeah. No.
What? 12 months? I don't even know where I'll be in 1 month. I'll be here, but I don't know what'll be open. Anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All that stuff about going to the gym, like the little bit I did it by myself, it's like, I don't need any of that. I am perfectly content just going down to the basement at work at the end of the day and throwing some dumbbells around, and good enough for me.
Getting a quick pump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that if I could have my own space for the rest of my life, I think that'd be fine. Like, You don't have to
Yep.
wait for anybody. You go at your own pace. I mean, I particularly really like, just the isolation of having nobody around. It's like, this is awesome. I could just do this, and if I feel particularly tired after a set, I can rest a little longer.
Yep. Don't worry.
If I'm not,
Nobody's
I
waiting.
can.
I'm not waiting on anybody else.
Nope.
No one's asking me if I'm done. How many more sets I have.
I like it because I've been able to listen to podcasts, honestly, and I've never been able to do that when I go to the gym before. I listened to, like, it's not really intensive podcast stuff. It's mostly PMT.
That's what I do. I just pop on whatever podcast I got on deck and let it rip.
Yeah, well, it's nice. It's like I've like a lot of these episodes. It's sometimes I have trouble finishing them just because it's like I'll normally throw it on if I'm doing like menial work with work stuff, which isn't very often, frankly. But otherwise, it's always when like on my commute I would listen to it, and obviously I don't have a fucking commute anymore, so yeah, I don't know. It's been nice to not have to just blast fucking trap music into my ear so that I don't have to listen to everybody grunt and groan around me. Yeah, peacock around as one does at the gym.
Yep, no need for any of that shit. So, yeah, man. You hitting on that other thing, just having your own space to like set one of these things up if you wanted to do this or whatever is very attractive to me right now, and that's kind of the main reason that I'm not actively looking to purchase a home right now, to buy a house, but it is one of the main motivating factors to do that eventually is more so I can just set up my fucking kit there and not have to worry about other things, about people getting pissed off. Set that up in the basement and yeah,
I mean, well, that's
Maybe
kind of
that's
a valid point that it's like, I mean, yeah, like these couple of things that we're mentioning are nice, but it's like, you can do whatever you want, honestly. It's like, I don't know, yeah, I'm gonna fucking set up, or I'm gonna, like what, I was talking to my dad about, when I was building this desk thing. I was like, Dad, do we have any like doors that I could just take off and like use as a fucking desk?
take the handle off.
Yeah, well, he said no.
Oh.
But it's like, yeah, I don't know. You can really like, I mean, those kinds of things are like an option. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take the door off this hinges. I'm gonna use it as a fucking desk now.
Yeah, or fuck this room. I want to paint it a different color. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I want to put those glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. I'm gonna fucking do it.
Like, I straight up haven't hung any wall decor up at my place yet since I moved here 3 months ago. Just because, like, I don't really want to have to tack these holes when I move out.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't think I put any more stuff up from when I moved in here. There were a couple things. I had like the band scroll that I stole from The Office. There was a hip hop poster that Isabel got for me, and then there was one of his family members framed my like that band W that we got for when you did not buy your band Letterman jacket. And he's like, yeah, my dad or one of my family members did this for me. He can do it for you. And it's like, ah, sure. Like, otherwise this will literally go in a box, and I don't know when I'm gonna find it.
It'll be in a box next to the blanket.
Yeah, kinda. Like, I don't even know where that fucking blanket is.
Somewhere. I think it's in the closet. In the original packaging, never
Like,
been opened.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is that? What is this blanket for? Anyway, so I think those are the only things I have hung up here. I put this bass drum thing over, I think this is like a carbon monoxide detector, hung on the wall, and I hung it on that because I was like, well, I don't really want to hang this like on a nail, so maybe I'll just hang it over this, and
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah,
Fits perfectly.
All my wall decor stuff is, most of it I think I packed up in a box, and some of the bigger things they're just all in a pile right now in my living room. right where I moved in. I set them there. I will get to this later, and it is not later yet. And I don't know if later will ever come. That's all right.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Single guy life. What can I say? Well, I don't know. That's probably a good place to call it. Hour and a half. We're good.
Yeah, this is it. This is the episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us just kind of talk about our lives here the last probably half an hour.
Yep.
Well, we'll see you next week.
Yes. I don't know. Sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Next
we'll see
week.
you. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.